Okay, you're welcome for that extended intro music, instrumental. All right, so it's Columbus Day, our very first Columbus Day ever. So what do you think, man? What are you going to do to commemorate this wonderful, wonderful day?
I think I'm going to go to the nearest shopping mall and colonize a Gap store.
That's it? A Gap store?
Why not?
But you're going to discover it.
I'm going to discover it, yes.
You said colonize.
Colonize. Well,
he didn't colonize anybody. He discovered the new world.
Good point.
Because he was brave. He was
I'm
brave.
Go out to a mall, discover a couple stores.
Okay.
Then in maybe 5 years, send my children in there to colonize them.
But they didn't have anything to do with it.
No.
They didn't do it. But anyway, it's Columbus Day, which is very fitting considering, the state of Haiti. And let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. Let's just get this out of the way, because we are American citizens.
He found it.
He found America. Thank God. We would have never had America. All right.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
In blue.
Oh, he knows the words.
Oh my goodness. Where's my lighter?
Right. Now go hold hands with your lover. Let's all hold hands. Sing with us.
Oh, Okay, enough. Okay, that's it. I think we fulfilled our
obligatory
patriotic duty for this national holiday of Columbus Day. Now,
where'd you find that at? That was amazing.
I purged the link and everything, but like I said, man, we are U.S. citizens on paper, despite being treated like colonial subjects in the streets. We have to, go with the program. So Columbus Day marked 1492, Columbus, and that's when Europeans made their first step from, regional powers, regional empires to global empire. And continent and ocean spanning empire. So the fact that Europeans, they are almost, regardless of all the atrocities, are they not obligated to show their love and appreciation?
I think that's the rules.
Can we really be mad at white folks for saying, hey, we gonna honor Columbus? Like, I'm always telling people, people want to be like, yo, I'm a feminist, I'm a Christian, and I'm a Muslim, and they want to distance themselves from the murderers, the rapists, the pedophiles, and all the other people that comes from their ideology that do horrible stuff. And I'm always saying, you got to claim your set. If you're going to claim something, you got to claim it.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Right. I can't be like, well, he's not a real Pan-Africanist. She's not a real atheist. If an atheist is out doing something dirty, I'm not going to say, yeah, he's an atheist. Now, we can have a discussion about whether or not or how their atheism influenced that horrible act, or if the two are related, but I'm not just going to you can't remove someone else's atheism. But the problem with that is there's no overseeing all-powerful God that is allowing something. So I don't have to make excuses for the next atheist, whereas
agents, individual agents.
Right. Everybody's right.
They have their
individual contractors.
They have their own agency.
That's why we don't get health benefits or nothing. We're all independent freelance contractors in this. And I wish I could call it a belief system, because everybody tells me it's a religion. But
it's a reaction.
It's the wackest religion. We don't have no songs. We don't have no
hat
costumes.
It's not a
religion.
We
got some good books though.
Yeah. It's not a religion unless you have a hat.
Oh.
You gotta have a special hat.
Maybe let's do it, because every time you bump heads with a Christian, I'm sure they say to you, well, you just got a religion, you act just like religious people. Right?
Indeed.
And there's big money in it. So, but anyway, we go back. You gotta claim your set. So I'm not upset, because the people are protesting saying they want to change Columbus Day into Indigenous Peoples Day. And I think that's the worst thing. That would be like electing a black president of a racist nation.
That's never happened.
Or electing a female president of a deeply patriarchal, sexist nation.
I don't think that.
I think that level of window dressing would like blow people's mind and distract them from the true nature of the state. So if they changed Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day in the United States, I think it's wholly appropriate, and it's a real reminder of like, yo, yeah, we got Columbus Day, yeah, it's an official holiday, and yeah, we claiming our set, we repping our OG. You know, he was the foundation, he laid the foundation for what this is, and we have not departed from that historical, cultural, ideological trajectory. We're still on that Columbus-ish.
Right.
So I, for one, don't want it to be called Indigenous Peoples Day. Until indigenous people retake the land, retake the infrastructure and apparatus of the state, and have full power and say in their culture, their mentality, their outlook dominates the land. And then we could say Columbus Day is no more.
Because what's more egregious is the mentality of the Columbus. You know,
right.
So you have people, even though they want to, like I said, window dress
right.
something, but the mentality remains. I was in this conversation where it was mostly white females who were attacking me verbally, using all types of foul language. But
gas.
Clutch my pearl. But the topic was Halloween costumes and how groups of people find it offensive for you to make their culture a costume. You know, and that was it was so offensive to them, and they fought vehemently to substantiate their point that they had the right to dress their little children up as Pocahontas if they wanted to.
Well, what's good is conquest if you don't get the spoils of war, you know,
right.
The rape, the pillage, and mockery. It seems like, how do I express my domination and conquest if I can't, you know, drape myself in the skin of my enemy
and dance around
in his bloody husk?
Create holidays,
right?
Where I get to
so mocking, up. Right? So mocking and dehumanizing your conquest. I mean,
it's part of the package,
right? And now they don't really get to the bloodletting. You know, we put it into lynching. We've put it into a lot of the other open atrocities. So they can't go about using the N-word how they want. You know,
you might get smacked.
Right? They can't just abuse the help. They can't just go around grabbing the poom poom. Right? They can't just walk around grabbing the unmentionables. So they can't do. So all they have are like, unless they become a police officer.
Indeed.
Or unless they become a U.S. military, they can't really enjoy
a doctor.
A doctor or a banker or a manager, you know, or unless they open a social media account, they can't really express themselves in their domination. So like we are at the social hierarchy, the economic hierarchy, the racial hierarchy, and how do we get to express it? It's not enough just to have more money. Have better housing, have better, you know, services.
Or at least the illusion of.
Right. Yes, it's not enough. I have to be able to step on your neck and dish you. So I'll have to do these, what they call microaggressions, or subtle aggressions, or indirect aggressions, because that's part of being the dominant one.
Right.
That's my culture.
You don't have to allow other people to matter.
Right. There was this wonderful thing where, like, conquest is their culture. Like, we say, don't disrespect my culture. But then disrespecting your culture is my culture. Conquest and domination and destruction of other people's culture is my culture. That is Western culture. All the way back to the Greeks.
So it was amazing, this exchange, because I couldn't get them to wrap their brains around the idea that other people may be offended by seeing, you know, little Susie running up as Pocahontas or little Johnny with a machine gun, you know, and this is their Halloween costume. Right.
And the thing is, how dare you be offended? But even more atrocious, how dare you articulate the fact that you are offended?
Right.
How dare you? So we say...
So I became the problem. I became misogynistic. I became the
oppressor.
Less tolerant, who was intolerant.
You became the racist.
I became the racist, right?
You're the one who brought racist to this. We weren't even talking about race. I wanted to dress my little white daughter as Pocahontas.
Right.
And I know one said anything about race. You're the one that brought race into the situation.
When actually they brought up race.
Oh, they brought up race first?
Well, because I became a racist. To them.
Oh, well, yes. Well, you're the one that...
But, of course, I was the one who was bringing race into it.
Bringing up genocide
and
oppression during Halloween.
Right.
Which Halloween is just about candy.
Well, it's absolutely. Why the kids can't. Then that was another problem. Because I'm not, into feeding children diabetes.
All right. Well, here's the thing. I think this is a point where I have to be sympathetic to these white mothers who want to dress their children up as geisha women.
Right.
But they don't go so far. They don't dress them up like with Ubangi's African, bones in the nose and banana skirts. They don't do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah, because they know we won't even be a discussion at that point.
There are some
natives and Asian folks, Indians, they can put the little bindi and wear the little sari. Right. They can do that. But I think they know black folks, we just too ornery. Right. Like, you are not even worthy of me appropriating your culture because you're just too savage.
Right.
You're too hostile. I'm sorry. So I know.
Why are you mad, bro?
They're going to get ran up on.
Right. They kept accusing me of being upset. I was like...
Right. But they'll do blackface on their all-white campuses and their all-white frat parties behind closed doors. But they're not going to go door to door because it might be an affluent Negro in the neighborhood.
Who will have his
they got a little panther, little dormant black panther sleeping somewhere in his cerebellum that will trick or treat and he'd snatch your kid. So
it's
at
least
least
be a trick.
we convince them not to do us as blatantly as they do other cultures. But you're all for people expressing their culture, embracing their culture.
Absolutely.
You don't support the melting pot of America. You want people to be able to navigate society while still being true to themselves and
maintaining some level of dignity.
But what about Europeans whose very fundamental culture is about colonizing and attacking other cultures? Are you trying to suppress European culture? Do you want Billy to dress up as what? A prison guard? A cop?
I would say
a club-wielding Neanderthal. What is appropriate cultural costumes? Because you have the neutral costumes: spaceman, space alien,
cowboys / colonizers.
See, yeah, with a noose.
It all space astronauts. Those are planetary colonizers.
Okay, yeah.
It's a slippery slope.
All right, so I think I could have. If they paid me, I could have made some good representations and good arguments on behalf of these mothers who want to dress their little
you were in there.
White kids. I don't know the white names anymore. You used to say like Biff and Becky. I guess Becky.
You could do a Justin Bieber. That'd be dope.
They already look like Bieber. That's
right.
No fun. They look like Bieber every day. They want to look like something else on Halloween that they're not.
Stretch.
I don't think I'm starting to see things from their point of view.
They could dress as like Ben Franklin.
Yes.
Something like that.
And then they can go around grabbing women in the meow. And you're right. Because Ben Franklin was up to that.
Yeah,
he
was
just
a geezer
walk right up
sure.
and grab women by the.
He was definitely a geezer.
Cat.
He was the original Trump.
Right. So
in
anyway,
short pants and powder wigs.
Right. So, but Francis Quest Welsing instructed us that we should not implore Europeans to hide their racial hostilities and their points of view.
Bring it out.
Because we force them to drive it underground, which makes them more cunning and sophisticated. So he's like, you would not.
They're already really
repressed. Right.
And people who are repressed act out.
Right, so she would have interviews like the guy. What are those two guys out of Harvard that wrote The Bell Curve? She would go and talk to racists, and she would encourage them to articulate their hostilities, articulate their views, and talk about so you think blacks are inferior? And she wouldn't even try to convince them that blacks weren't inferior. She would kind of open up and say, okay, black people, you think we're inherently and genetically inferior, and she would pose points to them, but it was about. This is who we're dealing with. Because, Trump, I think that Hillary has some of the same points of view as Trump. And it's like Trump said, and I believe Trump. Because when Trump says, Bill Clinton has said worse things to me on the golf course. Number one, they're golf buddies. Number one, that should tell you right there. They're supposed to have these deep-seated ideological divergence.
Right.
They got beef. But it's some WWE stuff. And you think that golf game where Bill Clinton was talking about the poom pooms he's walked up and grabbed, the sexual assaults that he participated, right? Do you think that's the last golf game between Trump and Clinton?
Right.
You think that's the last?
They were at one of Trump's weddings,
right?
A couple.
They were at Trump's his weddings, a couple of his weddings. He's donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Clinton Foundation, to their political campaigns, her run for senator. So they are allies, and so this whole thing is scripted.
The setup is set up.
Right. So, but it's like he's saying, but the Clintons are polished. They're polished. They're seasoned. So they are used to lying and telling sophisticated and polished lies. Where Trump is just never was in a position where he had to pretend. He's never, like he said, I'm not a politician.
Right.
I'm a mogul, so I could be openly racist.
A reality TV star.
And so, right.
But so everything he's doing is for shock value anyway.
Right.
That's his stick.
You think he lost a vote? Even women, they had women on Fox News defending him.
Yeah, it's interesting to see this play out. But I mean, you've seen the same thing happen over and over and over.
Right.
With like Bill Clinton, he was.
Right.
You can name a number of preachers do it all the time.
And Bill Clinton has been accused of rape by several women.
Right.
They just never, and many of the women says that the reason that I didn't want to come forward is not because of Bill Clinton, but because of Hillary Clinton.
Oh, wow.
They said she was extremely vicious.
She would scratch their eyes off.
Right.
But
causing people to lose jobs and not being able to ever get a job in politics, and people were leaving Arkansas. And who's the Linda Tripp? Remember Linda Tripp?
Right.
And she said she had several breakdowns, and she went and got plastic surgery to totally rearrange her face and features, and she was constantly under attack and followed and harassed her whole life. Mm-hmm. After outing Bill Clinton, semen finding on the blue dress, the notorious blue dress. But there were dozens of women who accused Hillary of rape. And so everyone's upset about Trump, about what Trump said, but they gloss over what Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton have done to women.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
I mean, and I don't understand. We keep having this situation where Trump is talking about doing things that we have confirmed that the Clintons have done. And people are more upset about talking about doing it than just doing it. You could look at Trump and know that he gropes women and that he's engaged in, he's a racist. You can look at him and it's obvious.
Right.
But I think people are like, you're forcing us to look at ourselves butt naked. Look at U.S. society, look at class, look at hierarchy. And it's forcing us to see what we don't. You're snatching our illusions.
Right.
You know what he is? He's a global spoiler.
Right.
And there's no spoiler alerts. He's a spoiler. He's like showing the naked face of America. America is ignorant, it's belligerent, it's anti-woman, it's racist.
And it has bad hair.
Right. And it's incompetent.
Right.
But it's incompetent, but even though all of that, it's still immensely wealthy because the chips are stacked on your behavior. So Trump is he's America forced to a person. Does he have he's talking about Obama. Does Trump have a birth certificate? He had to have been made in a lab. Right. They went to every state and got a little soy. He is America.
Right. But the thing is, you see that all the time with these evangelical ministers, and they'll have the weirdest sexual encounters, and then I have sinned and apologize, and
right.
There was one where they had to stop letting children come to the
right.
church because the minister was
But that was a brother.
Right, but I'm saying the same mentality. You'll still get off. I think.
Right.
I think if he'll play the "I'm an honest guy" line that he constantly uses to get out of stuff.
Right.
I'm just being, that was unfortunate. I don't think of women like that. And
right.
Let's push forward.
Right.
People. Let's face it. People have a very short memory.
Yes.
And
a lot of his voters have the same mentality.
Right. So they're like, "What's the problem?"
Right.
I do that all the time.
Right.
My niece came over.
And so in this society, they front like women have freedom. Women can work their jobs, being underpaid to the bone, and being sexually harassed and demeaned. And they don't have to cover up. You know, women can wear string bikinis, and we have billboards with scantily clad women selling everything from cigars to cars.
Mm-hmm. Free to nips.
Right.
Free to nips.
And so they think that, but I mean, rape is an unspoken, unseen epidemic in this country. You know, women have many like stress-induced chronic diseases. A lot of of their like the cancers and the respiratory and the cardiovascular illnesses are directly tied to stress,
right,
and pressure. And there's one profound quote where a guy said, he had tweeted, and this won't be the exact wording, I'll just try to get the gist of what he was saying. He said that men hate going to prison because the number one issue for men in prison is being raped.
Yikes.
And that's why men don't want to go to prison. He said, but the entire society is like that for women. The way men feel about prison is the way women feel about all of society.
Feel like when they leave the house in the morning.
Right.
Right.
You know, and I was at CSU campus, and my wife was coming home on the G line from downtown. And it was like 7:30, and it was dark. And she's like, I'll just take the train. And I'm like, oh, snap, you know. And I'm like, Lon, let me get out of here early and come get you. Because I didn't want her walking from the G line to our house on the south side.
Wow.
And, you know, I don't like feeling that way. I wish I could be like, yeah, you know, and it was a time, like when in the 90s when we lived in New York, she'd go out 1 a.m, run to the bodega, you know, the city that never sleeps.
Things have changed, huh?
Right. Well, it's just, it's hard out here for, talk about it's hard out here for a woman, it's hard out here for a pimp, it's hard out here to be a woman, it's hard out here to have a vagina.
Right.
You know.
When you got the presidential candidates trying to grab it.
Right. But then you have a woman candidate, which is the worst possible representation for women. A woman who has campaigned to cut welfare benefits. A woman who has worked for Walmart, which is the #1 employer of women in the country, that denies benefits for children, health care benefits, denies living wages, denies child care and paying child care benefits. And in some areas, upwards of 60 to 70% of Walmart employees have to go on public services because they're not paid adequate wages.
Right.
So Hillary Clinton, and then they always pulling out their behind. Hillary Clinton worked for the Children's Defense Fund. That was a job. And she quickly left that job and started doing everything she could to subvert, you know, children and women and families. So it's like they got the worst. It's like putting her up as a representative for women is like putting Clarence Thomas up as a representative for black men.
I saw this thing where they, I think it was Clarence Thomas, like they convened the new Smithsonian African American Museum. They said that they conveniently left out Clarence Thomas in that whole historical. You got Benedict Arnold. And with Clarence, can you imagine Clarence Thomas getting up and talking to his ugly wife and like, dear, let's go to the Smithsonian this morning and look at the Afro-American. You think he don't want nothing to do with black folks. Right.
And Dick Gregory told us why.
What'd he say?
He said it's black women's fault.
That's what Dick Gregory said?
Yes.
He
said whenever you find this self-hate, he said whenever you find,
it's his mama.
He said whenever you find these virulent anti-black Negroes that openly and blatantly serve the interest of our oppressors while attacking the collective of the black community, he said generally they're the kind of dudes that girls don't want to go to prom with. And he said if these sisters would just accept a prom invitation, we wouldn't have Clarence Thomas destroying the Voting Rights Act and reaffirming and supporting both the war on drugs and the systems of mass incarceration. He said, we got to find that little girl he asked to prom, and she was like, no. We got to find that girl and, have them go to Starbucks for a coffee. And after they have a coffee, he'll come back and be the Thurgood Marshall he was supposed to be.
Right. Get that gross dude in middle school.
That creepy guy that stares at you from the back of the classroom. You know, it's on you, ladies.
He'll give you a croissant. I mean,
right. That guy with the mediocre to poor hygiene.
Right. Give him some spin.
He's like, right.
Change the whole
or
world.
else he's gonna go home when you didn't let him take you to prom. He's gonna go home and study. and he's going to become a chief of police. You hear what the chief of police said? He said that the Chicago Police Department is afraid to do their job.
Yikes.
They're afraid to do their job. They
what
have
is
been.
Their job?
He said they've been. What was the word? He said
here?
they've been infantilized or fetalized.
Wow.
The cops, the Chicago Police Department is scared of not black people, but they're scared of exposure. They said that the police are under so much scrutiny that they can't effectively do their jobs, and therefore there's a balloon in crime rates. And so, of course, the first time, and what's his name? Step and Fetch It. Who's the new police chief? He's brand new. That's why I haven't had time to get intimate and really get to know this brother. What's his name? It's a real black name. Willie Johnson.
Right. Tell him the phone lines are open.
Sammy Green. But then what if the weirdo calls back? Okay, phone lines are open. 312-985-7834. You can come on live, state your name or alias, and where you're calling from, and you direct and talking to the people, and talking to me and King Dita.
And you can tell us what the new police chief name is.
It's something like Jabbo Jones, Ham Hock Johnson, something like. But anyway, and then the mayor Ram, the mayor Israeli Defense Force, gun-toting, dual citizenship of Israel, split loyalties and interests. He said that he supports Willie Johnson, Sammy Brown, Petey Green, whatever his name is. He supports the new police chief's position that because the cops cannot blatantly murder us and get away with it scot-free, that they're unable to protect us. What's his name? That says Chief Johnson. I know the last name is Johnson. Of course his name is Johnson. It was either Eddie Johnson.
Eddie Johnson.
Oh,
there we go.
There we go.
Oh, Eddie Johnson.
Eddie.
He looks like Carl Winslow.
And you see he got them the diabetes dark marks on his neck. He got like the pack of hot dogs on the back of his neck. So he ain't all that. He's got like the dark rings around his eyes.
Chicago has Eddie
You need to put him on your
Winslow.
King Dita vegan rejuvenation plan. Organic vegan rejuvenation.
My Bohemian Diet Miracle
Right.
Cure.
We got to replace Dr. Sabi.
Ooh. That's a good
There's
point.
a vacuum in the holistic health community.
So, oh, good, yeah.
And then you get Eddie Johnson, you get Eddie.
And heal him.
And get them black rings from around his eyes. You get that pack of hot dogs off the back of his neck and them black little diabetes bumps off his cheek, you know.
And I'll be like, did I do that?
Right. But then that might give him years and years or more of serving the system. I don't know.
Right.
So, but anyway, have you noticed that the Chicago Police Department have been more docile, more hesitant?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Well,
Even though I walked by a group of them downtown, they were putting hand sanitizer on their hands.
for what?
I
To
can only
anally
investigate,
stop and frisk. They're getting ready for Trump's election, where it's universal, nationwide stop and digitally penetrate.
They all look like they had got caught. They're all like, huh?
So, they're being more sanitary.
At least.
Right.
So
and what
as
kind
they're
of
punching you in
manly,
the face.
macho fascist cares about clean hands? I'm not scared of germs.
I don't know.
So maybe the Gestapo fascists don't worry. So yes, okay, we have evidence, visual confirmation that they are practicing, the police are being more hygienic.
At least
more hygienic. So maybe there's some proof to the fact that all of this protesting, Black Lives Matter, unarmed protesters, black children, unarmed black children, or black children with plastic guns, all of the scrutiny, all of us with our cell phones that we struggle to keep the payments on, our digital technology, we have basically castrated the police. We walked up and grabbed them in their... No? What's the...
what's the...
By their testicles.
By their snakes.
We're all holding
Grab
the
the snake.
Chicago PD in
By
their
the snake.
riot gear. Right. Their M4,
With our cell phones.
their rocket launchers with gas grenades.
With our cell phone and
Right.
germs.
Right.
They
So,
don't want to touch us. We're filthy.
let's have a candlelight vigil downtown. But no, there was this officer who was attacked by a man who was allegedly on PCP.
I can see that happening.
And it was a female officer. He picked her up, reportedly slammed her head into the concrete several times. And she said that her first instinct was to shoot the man, her assailant. But she thought again of it because she said she would rather die than have her family put through the ringer for killing an unarmed black man.
On PCP.
And so her partner subdued her attacker by using a taser. And they got him into custody, but she did sustain some injury.
Oh, good.
And when Eddie Johnson went to the hospital and said, he's got to do, when you get an injured officer down, pimped down, 4, 5, 6, the chief of police had to go there and be like, I'm here to express our gratitude for you protecting and serving. I know.
I'm here. I'm here.
You alright?
You good?
Hey!
You good, sweetie?
Rom told me to come down here, gave me the directions, and I'm here to make sure you is alright.
Sweetie, you good?
And she said, I'd rather die than be caught on tape killing an unarmed black man. And I couldn't take him physically hand to hand. Woo, 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 right? And so then he made the statement that the police have been fetalized.
Fetal.
Right.
I bet he came up with that himself.
Y'all have fetalized my polices.
Making up words.
And so, I haven't seen this with my own eyes because I see these cowboys zooming in these SUVs. I get into my whole explanation of why the cops are now all in SUVs instead of squad cars. That's a whole nother discussion. That's capitalism, international oil
zoom
politics.
Around in these,
they be zooming in the Jeep, But anyway, so that's a big controversy now. And then apparently Rahm Emanuel says yes, he also feels that the police are docile and have been castrated. We walked up and grabbed them in their berries, like Donald Trump does to
women.
Poom pooms, right? So what do we do? And now they also said that that's the reason for the rise in the homicide rates.
Boom.
Because the cops are not able to kill us. Now it's more of you to kill each other.
Right.
To me, it's a scary thing. But I guess we'll get back in there because we're past the break. The quarter mark. This is the Bro Diallo Show, live and direct with King Dita.
Live and direct.
So we're going to take a musical break. And I guess we stay on there. We played the Columbus song, so we're going to go with Burning Spear. Christopher Columbus.
This is one of my favorite jams.
So we're going to play the live version, because this is a holiday, y'all.
Yeah. Lively up yourselves. Feel irie.
All right, thanks for tuning in. Go to q4.org, QUE, the number 4.org. Go to the Q4 Radio Facebook page, and you can continue to listen live. Also, what else is there? You can find it archived at DialloKenyatta.com and all social media at Diallo Kenyatta. All my social media can be found at Diallo Kenyatta. Peace.
Send me money.
He's the new Dr. Sabi, y'all.
Right. I'll send you some Irish moss.
Peace.